Well, what do you know? Today on Starting Point, it's World Choral Day, celebrated yesterday on December 10th, 2023. And today we're talking about World Choral Day with the one and only Mas Dani Dumadi as a manager of Batavia Madrigal Singers. Welcome.
Welcome, Mas Dani.
Thank you for having me here. Good morning.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on TVRI World. Can you tell us more, first of all, about Batavia Madrigal Singers? So I'm sure that for the public, it's not a foreign name because it has been known in Indonesia for a long time. So tell us a bit more about your starting experience with Batavia Madrigal Singers.
Well, the Batavia Madrigal Singers consist of, I would say, I don't want to be brag, but...
you should brag. You should brag. You should brag.
We find singers who are attracted to audition for us, right? So we are very grateful that we have managed to attract those fine singers. And then we are gathered together because we have the same passion in singing, right? And we have a big goals, big dream to make Indonesia very well known for choirs in the world as a choir, Indonesian choir being known in the world.
Wow, so it's also international.
Because if you know, if we talk about choir, we'll think of Europeans or the Western countries, right? But the big dream for us is to have Indonesia to have a rightful place as well, a prestigious place in the heart.
It is. Thank you for doing that. Batavia Madrigal Singers is a global name at the moment.
Right.
Now, if you can do a bit of a throwback, Mas Dani, when was Batavia Madrigal Singers first started, and how many people are there consisting back then? And let's learn about today. How many people are there today in Batavia Madrigal Singers as a team?
It was started in 1996.
Wow, 96.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
1996.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and then we went through some competition. I think we one of the first, I believe, who began to join competition overseas, thanks to our music director, Afif Priyatna, who initiated this group.
Yes.
It was started initially by the alumni of the University of Parahyangan Student Choir.
Okay, Parahyangan.
Parahyangan,
From
yes.
Bandung?
From Bandung, yes. The alumni who started initially. But then it evolves, we accepting people from others as well, it became a general group. And then it was started, now I think our active member, I guess around 60 to 80.
60 to 80 members.
Wow.
Yeah, active member who regularly coming to rehearsals. But of course, for every event, we ask them again whether they're able to join the events. For every event, around 40, 50. Yeah,
40 to 50 for every event. So how did you, Mas Dani, get involved in Batavia or BMS?
Yes.
In the first place? Were you also a singer in BMS?
Yes, I was a singer. I've been singing with BMS since 2004.
Wow. That's almost
Quite a long time.
Yes, almost 2 decades.
But because of my personal situation, I've been keep relocating myself in and out the country. So when I'm not able to, join the rehearsal, and then Afif asked me to, Danny, why don't you begin to help us to manage all our overseas engagement, which I did that starting 2014 until the present. So I'm handling all our overseas engagement, which includes competitions, festivals, and sometimes you're also initiating events there outside overseas. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Talking about overseas, just last weekend, just yesterday weekend, BMS is consisting with a symphony of anime symphony. Audrey.
Great, yes.
Now talking about that, let's go. How did it go?
Oh, well, it went very well. We are very happy with the response. Thank you for those who are coming to the concert. I hope everyone's enjoying that program. It was one of the way of the BMS trying to be more, how to say it? Because, sometimes when we talk about choir, we're thinking about church and a very niche, I would say, setting, right?
Yes. Serious and elegant.
Serious, elegant, and very only certain people who can enjoy that. this is one of the way for us to prove that it could also be something that enjoyable for general public.
Yes.
We know that a lot of anime supporters.
Yes, or should we say weeboo here in Indonesia?
Right?
There are lots of weeboos.
Lots of weeboo.
Yeah, then classical music, orchestra music, you know, choir music, they're also open for that kind of thing as well.
Yes.
So it's not just for certain people and just for a certain thing.
It's also inclusive to other genres as well.
Yes. Actually, that I would have to mention that one of the characteristics of the Batavia Madrigal Singers, we're also known to have a very varied wide programs.
Okay.
So our choice of songs is very diverse in our performance. And people overseas also, they mentioned this specifically, that one of the strengths from the Indonesian choir, especially Batavia Madrigal Singers, is its program. It's program that is very wide. That's from classical music to then pop singing, and then so it's a show choir singing. It is very wide. So it's not very exclusive to certain.
It's a big range then.
Big range.
Yeah.
Very big range. Yeah.
And you mentioned before that there's a lot of overseas engagement. So I would really love to dive deeper into that. I know that Batavia Madrigal Singers has won or so many competitions and also participated in several of them, especially not only in Asia but around the world. Focusing on overseas engagement, what has been some of the competitions or festivals that BMS have been involved in the past few years?
Right, we have gone through quite a lot of overseas engagement. The competitions, we since 2001 we started to join the competitions that are in the league of European Grand Prix for choral singing. This is the association for some of the very top competitions in Europe, and very respected one. It's hard to get into to compete in that competition, let alone to win the Grand Prix. And then in that series, we need to be able to win one of the grand prize in one of the competition. We need also to compete against the other grand prize winners in the next year to be able to win the Grand Prix. So it's quite a long journey for us. We tried, we joined since. We keep doing that since 2001, and then starting 2009, we did that every year.
Okay.
Yeah. So
every year.
Yeah, every year in France, and then in Maribor, and then in Spain.
Wow.
And we are happy that on the 2022 we finally won the European Grand Prix for choral singing.
Well,
congratulations,
BMS, yes.
Wow.
Put Indonesia in the map, thank you for that.
That's true, yes.
Mas Dani, as the year came to a close this 2023, we would like to know from your personal view, what are the 3 top milestones this year that BMS have already did? If you can sum it up for us.
Right. So for apart from winning the Grand Prix last year in the 2022, and then 2023 we were invited to be in the World Symposium for Choral Music in Istanbul, Turkey.
In Turkey, Istanbul.
Yeah, in Turkey. Yeah, that is where all the I would say choirs, practitioners. Yeah, it's a very prestigious event where all the choir practitioners are meet together.
Wow.
And we an Indonesian choir, to be like sort of like a sample, to show, we are giving a place, a very prestigious place to showcase.
Wow.
Wow.
In Turkey.
Yeah, in Turkey, and we are funded by them, and then as an invited choir.
Wow,
Yeah.
you truly representing
Indonesia. The country, Indonesia.
Oh, and
then they only choose a very good choir, because it's like a sample for others to see, to look up to.
Indonesia is setting the example for that.
setting the bar.
Setting the bar, Audrey. Can you believe that? Wow. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that. Now, that is one. What are other 2s, if you can mention? This is your time to brag, okay?
Yes.
This is,
please,
please do, because we are excited to hear these kind of stories.
For this year, actually, yeah, we're busy for some lots of domestic engagement, including preparing for the anime concert.
Okay, that is one anime concert.
Yeah, and also our we also have concert series, so we're not just like looking out overseas as well, but we also routinely, annually do a concert series where we perform, we call it Sanguinis Coraliensis.
Okay.
We perform our choral works is hopefully also to share our passion in music with people in Indonesia, for all choral lovers here as well.
Yes.
And then we also actually, not for this year, but it's for the coming years later on, we also got invited actually to perform in one of the most prestigious choral events in the whole United States.
In the United States?
Yeah, but we're still working on that. It will be in 2025.
Okay.
It's where all the choir practitioners from the entire United States to gather on that symposium, and it's like the top events for them. And we received an invitation, and we're still working on that. Hopefully, we got a lot of support, and we'll see what happens still in 2025.
Of course, we will be here to support you.
Yeah, that's
and
amazing.
then for next year, actually, we also have another invitation to Taipei and to Japan.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so I'm very grateful that and now people really look at Indonesia as a very, you know, country that has good choirs.
Thank you for doing that, BMS.
Definitely one of the top contenders for choir as well. And I'm so curious, Mas Dani, what differentiates, especially BMS compared to we would say like the other choirs from around the world, because having competed and participated in these festivals and then being invited to more festivals, there must be some great and incredible qualities that BMS possesses. Can you please tell us more about that?
Well, first of all, I would say that by nature, I must say that Indonesians by nature has a good musicality.
Okay.
It's like it's part in our tradition, you know. Sometimes in our local, in our family, we sometimes go together and sing together with guitar, and you know, with that and those kind of things. Family, so we are a very musical person, and then we are also thankful that we are very flexible, and that's also one of the key points that some of the judges mentioned to us in our programs, because we're sort of like, you guys like able to sing anything, because if I compare it with some other choirs, we can see that their range of repertoires, a type of style is on this amount, and then when it comes to BMS, the BMS can show like a very diverse, and that's one of the key point that make the world interested to us, because we're not just like meeting their highest standards of choir singing. We pass that, but we also give out something that more than just that. But we give a lot of styles of variety, singing with dancing, with traditional music, and also very rich culture. Yeah, very diverse. I think that's one of the strongest points for the BMS, and also actually a very potential strongest point for other Indonesian choirs as well, because we actually have it naturally.
Hey, so you guys exceed the performance, not just singing choir, but giving full-time performance to the world.
Yeah, we give more. We give more than what they expected.
Thank you for doing that. Now, at this point, Audrey, we would like to know, how can we join also the BMS, okay? So we're going to ask Mas Dani about that later on in the next segment, so stick around right here, only on Starting Point.
We are back on Starting Point, still the greatest point in which you start your day. With me, Audrey Toyo, and my co-host,
Aida, and we are here with Mas Dani Dumadi as the manager of BMS, Batavia Madrigal Singers. Yeah.
Yes, and before this, we just had a lively conversation about all the achievements and accomplishments of Batavia Madrigal Singers, or BMS. Can you tell us a bit more, Mas Dani? How can one, I'm sure the viewers now are all wondering, you know, those who have passion for music, for choir, join BMS?
Well, we have audition.
Okay.
We normally open for audition every year, although not always every year, but yeah, sort of like almost every year. Yeah. And then when you saw the audition announcement, you participate.
You participate.
Yeah, participate and join. And of course, we are looking for those who are, have at least like certain qualities. Because of that. It's an audition.
Yeah. Keep the quality control, okay?
Yeah.
It's a QC.
The QC. How about if I may ask, Mas Dani, how about the age preference? I mean, what is the youngest age and the oldest age to join BMS?
We are normally, it's not like as a strict,
Benchmark, yes.
Yeah, benchmarking. But normally it's going to be under 35. We expect it to be more young.
Okay.
Younger.
Under 35.
Younger. So we have still more time for them to, to build.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Audrey, we can join, Audrey.
Yeah.
That's true.
Especially, yeah.
You've been 35. That's true.
Okay, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah. So it's more focused on a younger demographic then.
Yes, a younger demographic for the newbies and the Batavia Madrigal Singers. Looking for that more younger people. So that this choir culture could be, not just because used to be, when you talk about choir, it's going to be only old people, right?
Yeah.
We want it to be more on the young people.
On the young people. Okay, good to know. Thanks
That's change that narrative. Yeah, it doesn't really have to be like old church choir all the time. Yeah,
That's true.
Wow. And so I'd love to discuss more about, because yesterday was just World Choral Day, and one of the tenets of World Choral Day is choir being this unifying aspect or group in a world of many differences and many different factors of people. How do you think BMS also contributes to this role, or how do you feel you yourself in BMS have this as a choir? Do you think choir is really a unifier for people?
Oh yes, I believe choir is a unifier for people because in choir we are being able to group together. We're not just thinking of ourselves, but we learn to work together as a team. And then yes, very much, and we hope that the BMS will always strive to be able to do that and voicing. Especially in this World Choir Day, voicing for world peace and for unifying not just in ourselves but in general world as a whole.
And do you think it has, especially when you first joined, what was some of the most memorable moments that make you want to continue to join choir now that you've said,
it's the friendship and the sense of belonging in the BMS. It's something that I think it's maybe it's also, you can be found in other groups as well, but in BMS sometimes, because we know this is an audition to choir, right? So there's a lot of people who are entering the choir actually already sort of like a star in their other groups, right? Like they could be like conductor in the other group. They could be like a choir coach or vocal coach. Maybe like a rising star in their church and that kind of thing. We got a lot of sort of like stars.
Okay.
BMS, but there's no diva.
There's no diva. Everybody's working in harmony.
Yeah, everybody working in harmony, and then we understand each other, because we know for sure if we're having that a diva syndrome, that's not going to work for this group, and then we not be able to achieve our goals. That's the friendship and then the humbleness of people in the BMS with each other, and it's very. Make me always want to come back, even when we keep moving around, and then I just keep want to come back to the BMS.
Thank you for sharing that, Mas Dani. You're an example of the BMS that has already stand within BMS for 20 years, almost 20 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Thank you for doing that. Now, we are very curious to know, Mas Dani. Please walk us through the day of the practices when you are, for example, just having a concert of anime.
Right.
Walk us through the day of your rehearsal. I mean, how many hours of practice together?
Our routine schedule is on Friday evening and Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Right.
After work, right?
Yeah, after work, because most of us have day job and those kind of things. And then we always, just like other choir, I believe, we started with a vocal warm up, and then our music director is going to discuss the songs and all. Yeah, and then in between we during the break time we chit chat.
Okay. For 4 hours or 6 hours?
Mostly around 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, around ish. Yeah, around 3 hours. Yeah, and then sometimes we also do some other social activities. Not social. I mean like we sometimes go run together. Hanging out together.
That's okay.
Yeah, GBK.
Okay. The GBK, yes.
Just right
kind of thing. So it's not always about singing, but we also building a community between us. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and that's always what makes us to come back.
Okay.
Feeling the bound.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point that you just mentioned of the communal aspect of choir, which I heard is why lots of people joined. And one of my friends personally is in BMS. Actually, her name is Dorothy Aferina, and she told me about all these wonderful things about BMS and how truly she's found some of her true friends.
Wow.
Right.
In choir, like, do you think choir also gives that benefit of finding, like people who can truly accept you and not, it's like goes beyond music in a way.
It is beyond, it is just more, it's more than just singing together and music, but it's, I would say it's finding a second home.
Finding a second home, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Finding a second home because people will accept you, and then finding like a new brother and sisters. It's really nice.
Yes. Now we are also curious to know, as the year is coming to a close, there will be any concerts left for this year, or the Anime Symphony is the last?
Let me try to remember.
There's too many.
There's too many. As a manager of BMS,
I think this is,
who works on the schedule, we would like to know.
For this year, I think that will touch up the highlights, closing the season. Yeah.
Oh, the Anime Symphony.
The Anime Symphony. Yeah.
So New Year, you're not going to be singing together?
People normally, our members are really busy with their families and all during the holidays. Yeah, so maybe we're going to starting again, February onwards.
Wow. And actually, what are some of the believed the hopes and dreams that you yourself have, Mas Dani, for BMS moving forward? You mentioned that there are many great projects that are looking ahead in the horizon. Can you tell us more about your hopes, which is also to close the year and in the theme of World Choral Day for BMS?
Yeah. Of course, we hope that in the future we are given more, keep having more opportunities to be able to represent the country, represent, to be able to share our passion and our music throughout the world. But of course, we understand it's not always easy. We need a lot of support. Hopefully, there are more supports coming to help us to be able to do that. Yes. Because going overseas and representing the countries, it's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of cost related to that. But we're grateful that at the moment we have a great patrons and a lot of people that are helping us. Hopefully we keep having that kind of support as well for the future as well.
Yes, and I mean you have 2 supporters.
Yes,
right
here already.
Hardcore fans.
Hardcore fans of BMS. Yes. So we're gonna get back with more World Choral Day talks and of course BMS with Mas Dani. So stay tuned right here only on Starting Point. Starting Point is still talking about World Choral Day happening on 10th December yesterday, and still with us today on the studio, Mas Dani Dumadi as the manager of BMS, Batavia Madrigal Singers. Now we have learned all about Batavia Madrigal Singers for these 15 or 20 minutes talk. What we would like to know also, Mas Dani, as a person, personal sharings, okay? Can you share one of the gigs or the venue that is the most challenging to face, personally, from your point of view? When you were in the choir actively, can you share some of that? When was it? What year was it, if you can be specific? And what kind of repertoire that you sang back then?
Probably I would say that one of the kind of tricky.
Tricky.
Venue, I would say, is the auditorium where the Florilège vocal de tour happening in France.
In France?
Yes, it's a bit dry.
Dry, okay.
Yeah, dry, and sometimes we not always be able to hear each other when we sing. So yeah, that's I think among other places, that's one of the most challenging venue if you talk about venue, yeah, to sing. But we are very, I guess we are very proud to say that we won the European Grand Prix.
Wow.
Actually, in that venue.
In that venue? Congratulations! Wow. In that dry venue. Okay.
And that was the most challenging venue. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, although the acoustics were not vibing.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not reverbing.
Yeah, after a few attempts, we compete there several times. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So walk us through what it's like to prepare for these competitions, especially when you encounter like a dry venue or situations where it's not the most supportive. How do you deal with that? Because I don't think a lot of people have experiences of competing in international concerts and festivals.
Right. So vocal quality, improving vocal quality is very, I think, the key when having this kind of situation. And we are very lucky that our music director, Pak Priyatna, is just really, we are in really good hand.
Yes.
He are able to mold us with this specific technique that our voice is very rings, or in Indonesian term I would say dengung.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the one of the very key points needed to be able to sing sort of like in any challenging venues. Yeah, to have that rings, and then to maintaining it to balance and everything. Yeah, and then we've been trained rigorously for that. So it's not we have outside, apart from the rehearsal that I mentioned in Friday and Saturday, we also have sectional rehearsals as well.
Okay.
Right, and of course, occasionally one of the competing team of the members of the competing team. I mean, team for the competition. Sometimes we are required to have like in-person session as well, just to make sure we can meet the standard quality needed, because we are competing against a very good choir. So yeah, we really have to set our standard super high.
You are competing against how many teams, if we may know? There in France.
For the first round. When we have to for the first round, normally around 10 choirs. And then if you and then in between category, it depends on how many categories in that competition. Okay. And then if you won the grand prize, right? And then for the next round, the next year, to compete against other grand prize winners, it's 5. Yeah, 5 or 4 depends, because some competition not always sending the grand prize winner for the competition for Grand Prix. Okay. Yeah, but this 5 is all the grand prize winner. So very good. Yeah, in the previous year.
Very good and very hard to beat.
Yeah, very hard to beat. So it's sort of like a 2 years competition. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have to win, becoming a grand prize winner in the local competition there in Europe, and then we get the ticket to compete against other grand prize winner in the next year.
The next year.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot to us. That's why this league of European Grand Prix for crossing is known to be one of the most challenging, the hardest to compete.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, so months going into the Grand Prix, it must have been rigorous.
Yeah, training. Very rigorous training. Minimum like 3 events three rehearsal per week minimum. Yeah, because we have the Friday and then the Saturday, and also the sectional rehearsals. Yeah, for every section, just the tenors or just the sopranos and all. Yeah.
Mas Dani, is there any behind the scenes story, like when the due day of the competition? I mean, you have grown accustomed to 50 singers, right?
Right.
Is there any scene where one singer is experiencing a bad throat or suddenly a bad flu
little
comes.
sore throat,
Yeah, what do you do?
Of course, yeah, those kind of thing always happen. It's an overseas trip. There's a lot of funny things happens along the trip.
Please share
Yeah, I'm sure many of
some
them.
of that.
We are very lucky that we had gone through a lot of experience. Of course, in the beginning years, we had problems with that. But we're like almost half of the singers in the team.
Almost half of the singers. Crazy.
But that was back like in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, that's those eras.
Those eras.
We are very grateful that we managed to find solutions to make sure those kind of things are not happening.
Okay.
So recently it's rarely happened.
Okay.
Rarely happened. We've managed. We have set up some like SOPs.
SOPs.
Things, yeah. Make sure we keep warm. Make sure we got vaccinated and those kind of things. So yeah, well, luckily we don't get those kind of sick, but sometimes we occasionally having small issues like outside the competition.
Outside the competition, yes, of course.
People forget their trousers
or things, yes. Small things.
Yeah, small thing. But normally it's happened for the concert. It's not for the competition.
It's a regular Monday.
Yeah. And of course, I'm as a manager, I have to be able to manage. To be able to fix those issues.
Thank you for the hard work for the past 20 years,
Thank
Mas Dani.
you so much, Mas Dani. And also, Mas Dani, lastly, to wrap up this conversation, we've been having really lovely conversation with you.
Lovely.
Yes, how do you believe we can better support people who love choral music and also Indonesians support choirs such as BMS for World Choral Day who are representing our countries in the world? And how can we better support you?
Any support is acceptable, I believe. Even by keep coming to our concert, it's always a good, tremendous support. But of course, if we're talking more on that, of course, maybe I should shout it out, not only for general public. For general public, I think just coming to our concerts and sort of like taking us sort of like seriously, so we no longer
yes,
you know what I mean. So we are opening ourselves. We're not just like exclusive. We're trying to be very in general. So all the supports are very nice. But of course, like we have lots of projects in the future. I guess I would call for more support in terms of funding as well to like organizations, maybe government and also the private sectors as well, because arts cannot art cannot live by itself without those kind of support. Yeah.
We have to collaborate with each other.
Right.
Indeed.
Thank you for mentioning that, Mas Dani. And that is our talks on World Choral Day. Make sure you guys check on the internet and socials about Batavia Madrigal Singers, as they will be on Taipei on 2024 and USA on 2025. Okay, so we support Batavia Madrigal Singers at its best. So thank you for the talks, Mas Dani, once again.
Thank you for having me here.
For coming.
We close our starting point today. My name is Narendra Pawaka, and this is my birthday girl,
Audrey Toyo.
Yeah, happy birthday once again, Audrey.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more episodes on Starting Point tomorrow, same place, same time. So in the meantime, goodbye.